Well, good morning. How's everybody doing? We are in December 16th, and it's flying by, which it usually does in December, at least for me. December usually zooms by. Let's see, it is 25 chilly degrees here in beautiful Overland Park, Kansas. Let's see what the weather cam looks like today. Cloudy. Yeah. Kind of cloudy and cold day today, which is all right because it's December, right? We got to get in the mood. We got to get in the Christmas spirit. Oh, so yeah. Speaking of Christmas spirit, last night my daughter says, I said I was really cold. I just was couldn't get warm last night, and we were watching a TV show, and she said, "Why don't you make a fire?" I said, "Okay." I'd made a couple fires already, and normal fireplace, just a little, townhouse fireplace, and I just use those little compressed logs. I find that for the kind of stuff that we do, we don't do big, huge, gnarly fires. Those work good. Couple hours of ambiance is cool. Anyway, so and I'd done a couple this year, so I don't know a lot about making fires, but we have a gas starter, so I turned the gas on, and I wanted to heat up the fireplace, the flue, because I've heard that that's good for getting the updraft. So I turned that on a little bit, and thought I heated it long enough. And then sometimes I like to take a little piece of paper and light it and just make sure that the draft is going up. And so I did that, and I could see that the draft was coming down, but I stupidly put the log already in there, and I had the little thing on fire, and I could see it was coming down, and so I was like about to burn my hand, so I dropped it, and then it started the log on fire. Well, there was this huge downdraft, and our whole house filled up. The smoke alarm went off, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, it was not good. So I had to open up all the doors anyway, so I was freezing all night. So that was my evening. Anyways, so all right, well, we got some good stuff to talk about today. We got the second half of the interview with Crystal Tiehen, which is amazing. So let's go ahead and kick this off. So, are you ready for Christmas yet? So let me know if this is how this Christmas is going. Is it different? Is it the same as normal? Let's talk about Christmas and how we're getting ready for it and what it looks like. I'd love to hear your comments, so for that. And also, we have the second half of an amazing interview with Crystal Tiehen, who's an amazing intuitive coach, and we'll have the second half of that. So stay tuned. Good morning. My name is Scott MacMillan. Actually, J. Scott MacMillan. I'm the author of the book Be the Hero of Your Life. And this is a book I wrote when my life was stuck and I was in chronic pain. I had lost my job. I got a divorce. Life was not so good for a while. But I found a way to pull myself out of it. I wrote it in this book. And I used the hero's journey as a metaphor, as a story metaphor, to realize that I've always been the hero of my own life, and that through some hard work, some techniques, we can pull ourselves out. So if any of you out there are experiencing that or know somebody who is stuck in their life and needs a little bit of a new perspective, let me know. I can certainly help them through that situation. So welcome again today. Yes, December 16th. So let's look at our news. We've got some really good things. So let me pop on the news here real briefly. So let's see. The first big story is we've got congressional leaders and stimulus checks. It's a $900 billion relief package. Thank goodness. They say that they're near the deal. They've been saying that a lot. they say that a lot. I would be really glad. So let's hope that that's the case. What else? The vaccines. So we have the vaccine that is out there, starting now. So there's lots of hope for that. And there's some little things like this. This headline says vaccine trials volunteers recommend shots despite occasional harsh side effects. That's always going to be the case with some people, and I don't think that should deter us at all. This is our hope. This is really our only hope to get through this pandemic and get back out there. And of course, I always say it's not that we want to go back to normal. We want to get back to getting out and then have a new normal, have a better normal. Because I think that we've learned a lot of things through this time, for sure. It's supposed to be a big snowstorm in the Northeast, and hopefully that won't be too bad. They say that it could disrupt packages being delivered for Christmas, which already is apparently really bogged down. The mail system is everybody rushed to get them in, and so right now there's a backlog. But they said that for normal mail, you had to have your package mailed by yesterday to get it guaranteed to get it by Christmas. So I don't know. I got a couple packages I have to mail out to Montana. They probably aren't going to get there on Christmas, but I think my family will understand that. Hopefully. So, yeah. So throw a comment in here if you're on. Say hello. Say hi. And let me know what Christmas is like so far for you. Is it normal? For me, it's not too abnormal. I don't have a big family close to me here. I live with my daughter, and we kind of do our own thing. She loves decorating, so we did that last year. We're doing it again this year. She's really good at that and loves doing it. So our house is nice and festive, and it looks good. Don't have my son here. He's in Montana. We're not going to get together for Christmas with my family in Montana. And so that's a little bit sad. But typically, I don't see them always on Christmas anyways. So for me, it's not that abnormal, other than just the feeling of isolation I feel from not getting out and seeing people. Not that I don't get out and see people. I go to the grocery store. I go to my Starbucks and different things, errands and so on, but not like close friends really. And that's been hard. But other than that, it's pretty normal. The weather here, it's nice and cool now, and it's been pretty nice before. So this week, though, it definitely feels like Christmas. So what do you guys think? What does it feel like where you are? All right, let's see. So what else do we got today? So we did the weather cam. Not too exciting. So the other piece of news, of course, is that Joe Biden now officially is the president. The Electoral College voted, and I was a little nervous about that. I think a lot of people were. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was afraid potentially some crazy stuff would happen, and the electors not, voting the way that they normally do. Apparently, in the Constitution, they don't have to vote for what their state voted for, but it's highly irregular. And I think they have to even pass a state law. So it would have been hard to do, but it could have happened. But it didn't. And so really, really glad. Even Speaker McConnell congratulated Joe Biden. So I'm just glad to get on with that. Let's just get on with it. I'm glad that they took the time to count the votes and go to court. That way we know now. It's not like anybody put anything under the table. They went to court. Court looked at the evidence. If there was any, usually there wasn't, and determined that there was no evidence, no credible evidence. So it makes perfect sense now. This was a great election. It was secure, and we got to move on now. And I know that that's what people were saying 4 years ago when Republicans won, and all the Democrats were whining, and all the Republicans were saying, "Let's move on." And that's the way it is every election cycle. The other side is not happy, but this was different. This was somebody that wanted to shake things up, and And he did. And that was his 4 years of shaking things up big time. So, maybe the country needed that. So I do think now the country needs some compassion. And whether you like Joe Biden or not, the country needs some compassion. I think he's going to provide that. So I'm looking forward to that and to just getting on with a sense of normal politics. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't know if that's going to happen. But it just seems like the last 4 years were so crazy. It's like we were all on edge for multiple reasons. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. And, so it's maybe fitting to end 4 years of tumultuous politics with crazy, crazy pandemic and economic turmoil and everything. But 2021's coming. We have a vaccine. Well, again, whatever you think about vaccines in normal, this one is 94% effective. So it's gonna work, and it's really our only way out of this thing, so we can get back into living our lives again. Gosh, I can't wait to get out and see some friends and hug people again. Oh my God, I can't wait to hug people again. That is frustrating. But we got to get through these last few months. So I'm gonna wear my damn mask. I'm gonna be careful as I can until I can get this vaccine and get back out there. And that's gonna happen. So spring, summer, next year, we're gonna be back. It's gonna be so, so amazing. So awesome. All right. So, let's do the meme of the day here. This is, where's the meme? There we go. So this is one that, if you follow me on social media, I put up yesterday. This is one of my quotes. Life is not a journey, it's a hero's journey. And I say that because we hear people sometimes say, life is a journey. And sometimes that connotation is not so good. It's like, we got to slog along. But it's not that. It's a hero's journey, which is completely different than just a journey. With a hero's journey, we are on a quest to become better people, and to have more skills and more compassion, more empathy, and more connections. And as we learn those in this hero's journey, we find the treasure of whatever we're seeking, and then we return home to tell our people, to become a mentor. It's a completely different concept. I'd love to talk to you about this if you want to know about the hero's journey. Also, pick up my book. I talk a lot about the hero's journey in here. I talk about how to use the hero's journey as a self-discovery tool so that you can understand yourself better. And it's really, the hero's journey is the story of humanity, because all of stories and myths and movies are based on this 12 stages of the hero's journey that a hero moves through. And that's just like us in our lives. We all move through these stages in life. And when you understand how these stages play against each other and how we're all going through the same journey, the same hero's journey, it just gives us the courage to know and own that we are the heroes of our lives, and that we can create the life that we want. And then there's lots of different ways to do that. And the second half of the book, I go into lots of different ways on how we can become the superheroes of our own life through different techniques of uncovering your limiting beliefs, getting into that subconscious, figuring out what are those things that are holding us back, creating powerful new beliefs, and then meditation and visualization to anchor in those new beliefs and the powerful behaviors. We then create the life that we want. So that is the meme today. All right, so let's get in. Let me start the second half of this amazing interview with Crystal Tiehen. She's an amazing intuitive coach that really has a canny way of just getting right to the crux of an issue, and then just having you profoundly understand it. And that's what's amazing about really good intuitive life coaches, is they help you understand your own issues. They don't tell you what the issues are. They're really good at it. And she's really amazing at just unearthing that, so you have the clarity of how to understand what might be in your way, what might be affecting you, and you just feel really good after a session with Crystal. So anyways, let's go ahead and roll the footage. Forward, and then we can go. All right, so that didn't work the way I wanted to. All right, let's pop it.
Yes, we're awakened, and yes, we're doing the work, And we're reading all the books and we're, doing all the things, but it doesn't shift our vibration if we don't believe in are able to embody a belief paradigm that we're energy, that we are a vibration, that we have frequencies that come in and out of our field. That is what allowed me to expand beyond this rooted understanding of myself, of really allowing myself to be manipulated, allowing myself to be in narcissistic, energy fields. Like it was just something that went together. So I what happened was she ended up leaving me. And when that happened, I felt lost like I had never felt lost before. Because I was in a challenging space. I was introduced to this space where I was not able to be codependent.
Oh, yeah. Well, plus you had gone on this, you'd started the journey on this growth journey, but you're still an infant in it, probably,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And so then you get your, you get it shifted away, and you really don't have anybody to sort of lean in on, and then it's all on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary point. I was going to ask you, and maybe this is it, maybe it's not. Um, when in our journeys, there's always one, maybe two. We're in our journey, but we're still kind of moving through it. We're not sure what's going on. We're moving through it, whatever. And then there is something. There's some inciting event that it's really like, okay, now I sort of get it. And it's almost like, even though you've done all this work and you've grown and so much, it's this event or this thing that happens that then you really kind of get it. And at that point, your journey now almost takes a different level. I'm wondering for you, when it might have been this realization that everything is energy, and that now once you really understand that, you can kind of look at the world in a whole new way. And as you're doing that, you're learning and learning. Was there any sort of event, or when did you realize that? And after you realized that the paradigm was going to be energy, what was sort of the 3D story behind that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we're shedding those layers and releasing those identities, and really, moving through our journey, uh, we tend to create the same energetic experiences, just in different appearance of scenarios.
Yeah.
And so when I felt this loss and I was releasing this identity of codependency, um, it opened up a whole new world. And I manifested a mentor for the first time. And almost immediately when we connected face to face, um, she act, she, not her specifically. I mean, it was the experience, but that's when my intuitive gifts were activated. I had
Okay.
no idea that that we as humans even have this capability until I met her, and then I was introduced to this whole understanding of, you know, Deepak Chopra. He calls it second attention, being able to know things without having to see it, without an appearance. And so I was my intuitive gifts were activated when I went to the retreat. And then almost immediately, my mentors were like, "Hey, we want you to run with us."
Right.
So I took another leap of faith,
Yeah.
and I did what I call committing career suicide. I had a very established situation. I made a lot of money. I saved a lot of money, and decided to take a leap of faith. And I started running with this company. And they were, a self development company. but they really, instead of going to school and like going the traditional route of going through, a degree to get my psychology degree, the universe showed me a route that was a lot more speedier, if you will, and intuitive. And it was something that was a calling for me. There was no logic to what I did.
Yeah.
And so I started co-facilitating workshops, and I was within like 3 months of finding my mentors and stepping into my intuitive gifts. I was using them in co-facilitating workshops, and I mean, I was enmeshed. It wasn't pretty, codependency again. There was not a relationship, like any type of an intimate relationship or anything like that, but it was still codependency.
Yeah.
I was still putting them on a pedestal. I was using my intuitive gifts, and I had no idea how to use them. I'm just saying, like, this is what had to be shown to me so that I could, embrace that I had so much deeper healing to do. And so intuition, by the way, it says the darndest things. and people are like, sometimes you can't handle it. Like, you really have to learn what is supposed to come through and what is just supposed to be realized by that person themselves. And I said something one night to my mentors while we were co-facilitating a workshop in Sedona. It was not taken well. And universe, I mean, that was the 3D way of it happening, right? Universe said, nope, you're not supposed to be on this path with them any longer. And so I'm here. I had left my career, and I decided to jump into entrepreneurship and start my own coaching career. And it's been a very interesting journey because energetic embodiment and working with energy and energy work, and it's kind of woo-woo and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of science behind it.
Yeah, that's what I love about this work is that science and the connection to the spirituality or the woo. And I think that the universe, the world, society is moving that direction, and it's fascinating. That is one of the things that really hooked me. Was when I started to find that out, when I started to understand the science behind the energy and the science behind the woo. Yeah, that's wonderful. So
yeah,
you took off on your own entrepreneurship, and so your company name is Crystalline the Journey, or
Crystalline Your Journey.
Yeah, Crystalline Your Journey. What is so if somebody comes to you for coaching, what does that mean? What does Crystalline Your Journey mean? What kind of work do you do with people?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's crystalline your journey, and it's crystal clear alignment on your journey. And really what I work with is I work with intention. I have an uncanny ability to be able to sense and assess what your deepest intentions are, because I believe very strongly that our energy doesn't start with thoughts. It starts with intention. It starts in the intangible of the intention. Then it goes to thought, then it words. And then you, of course, go into action. And I teach people how to not just take action, but take inspired action by being able to tune into their intention.
So that's interesting. The thought part, just and I'll let you get back to that, but I thought is sometimes you have thoughts, or at least in my case, I would have thoughts about things, and they might have been good. They might have had good. What's the word? They were leading me down a path, but they weren't really getting me anywhere. And what I realized is that until I formed intention, and then listen to that sort of intention and then intuition from that is when the journey. So when you say intention is first and then thoughts, explain that to me.
So intention is okay. So when we are in a space where we have a thought and we think, oh my gosh, we're going to do this for this person. And we're going to do this for this person because we want to help them. Whether it be like you go to a food drive or something like that. Okay. And you say, yeah, I'll totally, volunteer my time and stuff like that. Well, what you have to do is you really have to tune into your intention. You have to tune into the quality of your intention. And I don't mean the quality in a moral or societal sense. I mean the quality as to what your soul desires you to experience. And so when in your soul, your higher self desires you to experience. Because a lot of the times that person, they are going to the food drive, they are helping at the food drive, they're doing this, they're doing that, but their intention is not to do it out of compassion. Their intention is to do it so that they look good.
Right.
And so we tend to deceive ourselves with intention. Yeah. And when we can get true with ourselves, with our intention, we then shift our vibration through the quality of our intention. And then the thought follows.
So what are those thoughts? What is it that started off the path to a person then wanting to volunteer at a food bank? What do you call that? So I was sort of equating that to thoughts. Like, I have a thought, I'm going to go do this, but the intention or the intentionality of it isn't true to a soul, or it's a little bit selfish. How would you
ego.
go? It's ego. Well, yeah, it's ego.
And I consider ego anything that keeps us in a lack of awareness. That's what really ego is.
Yeah.
Is a lack of awareness. It's like, no, we don't want you to be aware.
So how would you work with somebody that, let's just take that simple scenario, and they had this thought that they wanted to go help people out, and whether they knew it or not, whether they knew what their true intention was, do you help them kind of first sort that out and have them understand about what that intention is and what it means and how to connect it to their inner soul, if you will?
Yeah. So the most important part of this work is self-realization.
Yeah.
So as an intuitive, as a direct intuitive, I can channel a person's energy. And within being able to do that, I have the capability of being able to sense and assess the intention. I don't do it with judgment, or I do it through observation, because we're all on our own journey and we're experiencing exactly what we need to experience. And it's our choice and it's our free will to embrace, a higher path in each moment. And even if we didn't embrace it the last moment in the past, we have the choice to embrace it in this moment of the present, and so on and so forth. And so the way that I explain it, I guess, best is I ask questions, and I ask the right questions. And it allows the person to self-realize that oh my gosh, I do have the intention of wanting to look good instead of fashion. Oh my gosh, I can let grace and love in. And I help them, I show them what those frequencies feel like in the present moment while they are present to their energetic field. and this clears your vibration. Now, I'm not to say that it clears every single root and every single layer and every single identity and so on and so forth. That's not why you work with a coach. You work with a coach because you have something going on in your present energetic field that you're too close to that you can't see.
Yeah, and that was going to lead into my next question: is what do people typically come to see you? What are their typical reasons for seeking you out as a coach?
I mean, usually it's because they want to. Mindset work isn't working. Like mindset work is, they're doing it over and over and over. But as soon as a huge trigger comes through, it demolishes all of the work, all the mindset work that they had done anyways. And so this whole rewiring thing that self-development world, talks about and stuff, it's great for to a certain level. It's great for people that are in that season of their journey, in that phase of their journey. But we have to move beyond that paradigm of thinking. Of thinking that we can control our thoughts, of thinking that we can redirect them. There's if you're really going to truly have high conscious energetic embodiment, your intentions have to be pure, and not just pure by consciousness, pure subconsciously. It's a huge trigger. So I help people bring themselves into that space. And then I show them how they can use this in their day-to-day lives. It's not just mindset work, because here's the thing about mindset work is if you get triggered beyond the capacity of what you have created a container for with your mindset work, with your rewiring and so on and so forth, it will completely demolish it. You'll fall even deeper into the web of self-doubt, and it'll take a long time to get out of it. There has to be an energetic understanding. There has to be a choice to have that second attention, to know that there is something larger than you, larger than just your physicality, larger than just your mind, that is guiding you. And I help people connect to that.
Okay.
Some people call it higher self. Some people call it intuition. Some people call it, there's a lot of different things. But it's, what is it for you?
Yeah. I feel like there's I'm dancing around a little bit of really feeling and understanding what this is, what energetic embodiment is. I think I get it intellectually. I think it's one of those things you have to kind of go through, probably, with somebody like you to really feel it. But I have a question on: what's your number one way to then have them actually feel it or believe it or connect to that second knowing? I mean, is it I guess I'm getting, is it just talking through with them? Is there energy work? Is there body work? I mean, how do you help them get into that?
It's kind of funny. Some of my clients call it energy therapy, because really it is asking the questions that lead them to the self-realization, but then also, teaching them the nuances, all of the different knowledge that they can then apply to their day-to-day life. And when they apply it, they then receive different results because their vibration is emitting and attracting differently. And when they experience this feeling, it then allows them to use their energy with speed, use their energy with intention, and of course, move through shifting into that belief paradigm of everything is energy.
Do you spend any time going back, having them identify or try to unearth and identify those, what I call limiting beliefs, but just those subconscious, energetic limiting beliefs that are wrong that we all carry with us? Do you spend time having them unearth those or identify those at all?
So I believe I believe what I call believe in universal order. Okay. And what I do is I read the energetic field in the present moment. So if something is in their energetic field and it has something to do with a past experience, a past trauma, whatever it may be, we absolutely will move the energy of that so that it can be self-realized, so that it can be felt through the body. I do help people with breath work and that sort of thing as well. But it is all intuitive. I don't have these different certifications of modalities and things of that nature, because I truly believe that we have the present moment. And so when we go digging into past situations and past identities and so on and so forth, sometimes we're surfacing things that our psyche can't handle.
Yeah.
And it's going to throw us even further for a loop and keep us out of that alignment. And maybe that's what's supposed to happen. But I hold an intention of a container to work with the present moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, that sometimes begs the question too of, there's some things that need therapy, some things that need coaching. Sounds like you kind of bridge kind of in the middle there. I sometimes say that too, because I do work with my clients to go back and at least try to identify some limiting beliefs. And they're typically, we don't spend a lot of time there because I'm not a therapist. So I'm not going to go psychoanalyze that situation. I'm trying to get to something that they've carried with them into the present moment that is causing them, to sabotage their belief or whatever they're doing now. But there is that, it's subtle, because I don't want to spend too much time, doing that. Because I agree, and I do think that's a little bit, sort of the modality of coaching is to deal with the present moment. And in my case, I deal with, the future, present moment to the future of what do you want to get out of life? What do you want to change? What do you want to become? What do you want to do? And, for me, it's interesting because how I love the science part. And a lot of it is just from sort of an analytic mind and sort of engineering background, for me, and a trainer, a corporate trainer. So it's so interesting because my modalities are sort of system-based, and I don't really use a lot of that intuition. I'm sure I use some of it, but I actually have a system-based. And so I'm always really impressed by people like you who can really just take any situation, look at it, assess it, feel into it, and then ask the right questions or whatever. I think that there's so much need for that, and for both sides, because I think there are a lot of people that do appreciate a good process, at least to start with. I always say that, like a process or a spreadsheet or a project plan, I always love those, but they're always a good place to deviate from. I like a place to start and deviate from it. So I always sort of have like, here's the model, and now let's go figure it out. Well, I feel like I'm just barely getting my hands around kind of what it is that you do, but it's fascinating, and I love the connection with the energy, but the reality of the present moment, and the intuition and empath. And we could talk for hours and hours on this, but we're kind of running out of time here. So but I think it's been really valuable to just talk about these situations and about the paradigm shifts and about your story and about the story, because I'm all about the hero's journey, and we all have this story, this journey that we're all going on, and it's so fascinating to hear people's stories of how they've come through things. And some people come through event. We all have, inciting events in our life. Some people just aren't ready to open up to it, and they kind of shut it away and move on as fast as they can to get back to where they were. And some of us, like you and I and a lot of other people out there, are able to take that moment and say, oh my gosh, I can't be the same anymore. I have to do something different. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are in that space, but they don't know who to turn to. They don't know if they should go to therapy or read a book or whatever. And I think that's where coaches like us can really come into play to help people that know that there's more for them out there, or they know that something's happened, but they really don't know where to turn. And so that's sort of my mission is to help identify and to talk about those topics and subjects for people that, they're not in dire psychosis or anything, and they're just in need of a little bit of help to kind of push along their innate wisdom that they sort of see, but they're not sure where to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there is a lot of science behind it. And, being in this realm, I've been introduced to like intuitive technology and that sort of thing as well. Even when I was co-facilitating workshops, I was in Norway and I was visiting clinics, and there was, there were these machines that they were using on people to be able to intuitively study what's going on with them, what's going on with their psyche, what's going on with their field, what minerals they need, what vitamins they need, what are they lacking, what do they, what will balance them out, all that stuff. And 3 years later, this technology is now a reality.
Yeah,
so,
you can hold it. You can hold it in the palm of your hand, right?
You can.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back someday and we'll talk about the Healy and about some that other technology out there. I find that so fascinating. I'm a big follower of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's just on this amazing mission to take that science. He was where I really absorbed that, where he took the science and the spirituality together. But he uses all sorts of amazing, fMRI technologies he can actually predict by looking at the electrodes and about the data that's being fed when someone's about to have a humongous spiritual enlightenment just from looking at that, because they now can read the brainwaves, which is amazing. It's
fascinating, because there's so much, and with the Healy, it's frequency medicine, and so that's a lot of what I do, what I help people and show people, that they have the capability of feeling, and it shifts things.
Yeah, and I think it's really good too, because it's feedback. It's stuff that people can see. I think it always helps to have some sort of feedback where you can see, the graphs and the colors and then shift into that next state because you can see it. So. Yeah,
it's very powerful, and we should absolutely talk about it as well.
Okay. Well, good. We will definitely do it again because we could talk about all sorts of different awesome topics and this work that we do of just trying to help shift the paradigm of the world, and one of the things I always say is that in this 2020, this pandemic time or whatever, of this chaos, is it's time to use this as the catalyst, right? Let's use this craziness as a catalyst to move forward into all of this. And I think we're going to find a lot more people that just either got pushed into it or shoved kind of into this new reality and are like, okay, now what do I do? Or, okay, this is interesting, or I don't want to go back to the way it was. And that's the thing. I don't want us to go back to normal. I want the new normal to happen. So hopefully, you and I and a whole bunch of our brothers and sisters that are in this work, we can help facilitate that and manifest that. So, well, thanks again, Crystal, for coming on. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And we'll do it again. So we'll talk next time. All right. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Jack.
So powerful. Crystal has definitely an amazing way to get in there and really get to the main subject and do it in a really intuitive way. So, and you had some good comments there. I put a few of them up there. And I like that. It's just the law of attraction. When people are ready for the journey, they will attract someone in the group or so agree with that. The student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I love that. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap up here. It's almost going to go on. Yeah, almost 45 minutes. Usually I like to keep these around 30 to 40 minutes, but there was some great info there. Crystal, enjoyed that, and let me know if you would like to hear more topics from Crystal or more different topics from from me or from any other guests. So if you have any other guests that would be great to come on the show, I'd love to bring them on and talk about all this amazing, fun, interesting, uplifting information. So, all right, great. Well, we will see you next week. Hero Life Hump Day. It's going to be Christmas time. Oh, I forgot to run this. Hold on. Let's see if we can get this. Yeah, 10 days to Christmas. So get out there, get all of your shopping done online, of course. Hopefully you can get shipped. And so you guys have a great, great, great Christmas. Let me see. Yeah, so next show will be 23rd. So yeah, I'll definitely have a show. I'm not going anywhere, so I'll be around. So let me know what you guys are doing for Christmas, for the holidays. Anyways, I'll see you next week. Hero Life Hump Day. Thanks. Bye now.